Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a seismic shift in how things are made around the world. The global manufacturing landscape is being reshaped by a renewed focus on industrial policy. Essentially, governments are stepping in more and more to boost their own domestic production, especially in key strategic sectors. This is a big change from decades of focusing on free markets and global supply chains optimized purely for cost. So, what's driving this? A few big things. Heightened geopolitical competition, the vulnerabilities in supply chains that the pandemic and recent conflicts laid bare, and the race for technological supremacy in green and digital industries. Let's look at semiconductors. These tiny chips are the foundation of our modern economy, in everything from your phone to advanced defense systems. They've become a new geopolitical battleground. The United States, with its Chips and Science Act, is pumping billions into domestic chip manufacturing and research. The goal is clear: reduce reliance on East Asian manufacturing, especially given tensions around China. Early signs show new factories being announced by giants like Intel and TSMC on U.S. soil. The European Union isn't sitting idle. Their European Chips Act aims to double the EU's global market share in semiconductors by 2030, boosting their own design and manufacturing capabilities. China has long seen semiconductor independence as vital, pushing initiatives like Made in China 2025. Despite facing export controls, Beijing continues to invest heavily in its domestic industry. And established players like Japan and South Korea are also ramping up their own industrial policies, offering subsidies to maintain their edge and attract investment. Now, let's switch gears to electric vehicles and battery supply chains. This is another critical area where industrial policy is heating up, all tied to the green transition. The U.S. Inflation Reduction Act, or IRA, offers significant tax credits to encourage consumers to buy EVs and manufacturers to produce batteries domestically, aiming to build a North American supply chain and lessen dependence on China, which currently dominates battery manufacturing. The EU is also actively building its domestic battery value chain through initiatives like Conundrum's European Battery Alliance. They're setting production targets and investing in research. China, having established an early lead with massive government support, remains a dominant force, with companies like CATL and BYD leading globally. Other nations rich in critical minerals like lithium and cobalt, such as Australia, Canada, and Indonesia, are trying to leverage these resources to move up the value chain, not just exporting raw materials but attracting manufacturing investment. Indonesia, for example, has used export bans on unprocessed nickel to force investment in local smelting. These examples highlight some broader trends. Firstly, industrial policy is now deeply linked with national security. Secure access to critical tech is a strategic must. Secondly, we're seeing more friend-shoring, shifting supply chains to allied countries, and regionalization to build resilient networks. Thirdly, this is a race for leadership in next-gen tech, from AI to clean energy. However, there are challenges. These initiatives risk subsidy wars, market distortions, and increased protectionism. And crucially, a skilled workforce is essential. Many countries face shortages of engineers and technicians. In conclusion, the era of purely cost-driven globalization in manufacturing is evolving. We're seeing a more strategically managed, sometimes more protectionist, approach. Industrial policy is back in a big way, reshaping global supply chains, economic dependencies, and international competition. The drive for strategic manufacturing in areas like chips and batteries is at the heart of this transformation. Thanks for tuning in.